So a starting point of sorts is surface.
Yeah, the way things seem is not always the way they are, they say. I say the way things are is more often than not consistent with the way things seem, to me to be at least. Granted that the things that seem to me. They are split apart by me, so any inconsistency may just be part of the reason we re-examine what we think we see. Like a childhood wonder why things will be. Gaps in floorboards and how when things fall through them we group them together with other things that we can't see. My point is, I guess, like a double agent who didn't tell their bosses they were doubling, who was again an agent pretending to see, to be with C and to be with B, but is in fact with C all along. The way things seem can be how they actually are. I mean, for C, the agent is just an agent. There's nothing double about him. In fact, I guess that's what's special about the double agent. He makes people see how he seems to be one thing and at the same time isn't at all. Or he shows people exactly what he is and hides what he wasn't in the first place. And anyway, who's to say that the way things seem isn't? Just another way of measuring the way stuff is, or seems to be. Admit that your eyesight is bad and you can't quite make out the fuzzy shape hurtling towards you, and when you do try to make it out, you squint so badly, straining and pulling at muscles that never really worked in the first place. Even when you were fresh-faced and new, and now it all just makes you seem like a wrinkly prune and a granddad, but you're only 30. Not that you can see any of this though, and you'd only just not tell anyone that you wear contact lenses, which is a crap name anyway. Just admit your eyesight is bad, and that the little toddler that ran past you with the worst acne on a child you'd ever seen made you laugh, and then made you think back with fond memories to smooth and taut skin that covered your body from head to toe, with only hair where it was expected to grow. And you'd cycle quite quickly unimpeded by the extra skin bag you seem to have exchanged for what you once had, and now create so much extra drag it takes 20 minutes instead of 15 to get to the same shop. What you thought was a tiger and leapt out of the way of was in fact a yellow sports car, painted black in parts, suggesting the mouldy banana motif being used in an anti-Fifes campaign by a naive hippie who hadn't factored in the fuel he was using, zooming around while simultaneously protesting the fuel used to deliver bananas that anyway arrived mouldy, and thought that this would be a fitting metaphor to use and highlight how the world is also seemingly decaying until painting the car himself. He realised that the black and yellow colour scheme would never quite adequately convey both messages at once. Or, what you thought was a fast-moving hedge and leapt out of the way of was in fact a green sports car, painted black in parts suggesting a decaying green earth being used in an anti-Fifes campaign by a naive hippie who hadn't factored in the fuel he was using, zooming around while simultaneously protesting the fuel used to deliver bananas that anyway arrived unripened, and thought that this would be a fitting metaphor to use and highlight how the world is also seemingly prematurely decaying until, painting the car himself, he realised that the black and green colour scheme could never quite adequately convey both messages at once. You can tell me this, or you can find out the way things actually were there, and then this is like a conversation that crumbles within too much consistency. Do you like rock music? Yeah, I like rock. I like X. What about you? I like X too, they're great. Cool. Yeah, they are. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Do you like rock music? Yeah, I like rock. I like X. What about you? No, sorry, you misunderstood me. I meant the music that rocks make. What, is there such a thing? Oh yeah, sure there is. In my research I found that if stimulated rocks, especially igneous rocks, make the most extraordinary music. I mean, they can really sing. This one time I lit a campfire for a piece of basalt and then it sang Cante Partio. You know that Andrea Bocelli song, in a harmony. I guess it's unique in that it's able to sing the bass and the alto at the same time on account of its name. And the alto was in Freddie Mercury voice and the bass was in the style of Anthony Hegarty. It was magical. Do we need to see things in the same way? Do we need to see things in the same way? And do we ever really see them the same way? I suppose that when we do, it's a sort of moment of celebration, a kind of, I'm seeing the same way as you. Whoa. But mostly you just nod along silently and politely, smiling at whatever the other person is saying. Your thoughts or opinions never really meet or coalesce. They just sort of sit next to each other, aware of the general kind of trajectory of the other person's point of view, but still stubbornly sure of the importance of your own. I feel like if I saw the magic trick the way the magicians see it, I'd probably be the magician and expect to get paid. It'd be work, it wouldn't be desirable, almost as though it were just another day at the checkout, scanning mouldy or unripened bananas. So for example, the magician's only really doing the magic trick because we can't see it the same way. To sum it up, I think the Andes could. I mean, the mountain range. There are these massive mountains, and I think even if you've been on them, seen them, or studied them, they are still unfathomable to some extent. They were formed ages and ages ago, and I'm not using millions of years or some such other marker here that basically just says you don't even know how long. They were formed by tectonic plates moving and practically show where one plate ends and the other begins. Even if the Andes are slightly to the east of the plate border or seam, well, in this case I think it's fair to say, or better yet, to suggest that here we have what seems and is Andes and seems.